What's up, everyone? It's Mr. Mir, and today I'm going to be taking a look back at my old nemesis, the bane of my existence, the Spike TV Video Game Awards. Now, I have done a general rant on the VGAs, and I've done a video on the 2008 awards specifically, but today, since I haven't reviewed any of the VGAs from 2009 onwards, I figured I'd make up for it and talk about all the VGAs that have been going on from 2003, the year began, up to 2011. This is actually my second attempt at making this video because I tried it first with Cam Studio, but every time I scrolled up the page, it would, the picture would keep messed up when I finally rendered the video in Cam Studio, and yeah, it just didn't turn out well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a picture-in-picture effect with Sony Vegas, along with screenshots of the Wikipedia page for the VGAs. So hopefully that'll be a better effect. And also, the original video took too long. I mean, it was over an hour. It's going on an hour long. So I'll only touch on the parts that I have something to say about, and those that catch my eye. So, without further ado, let's rip into the VGAs, shall we? Let's pull up Wikipedia page for the VGAs. Go to 2003. Alright, it's hosted by David Spade, and I'll say this again, this VGAs was hyped to all hell. I mean, every other commercial on Spike TV was for this show, and of course I was excited for it. I mean, a video game award show, I'd never seen one before, so of course I was excited for it. And then it came on, and it was a huge disappointment. I mean, it looked like the show suffered from ADHD, because everything just happened so fast. Segments that lasted only like a couple minutes each, or less, and the biggest offense was how the awards were presented. Like, only the winners were announced, alright? Like, Game of the Year was this game, and that's it. None of the nominees were announced, which was in poor taste in my opinion. In addition to all the stereotypical video gamer jokes, it was just a terrible experience overall. I'm surprised it came back for a second year, but anyway, moving on. Game of the Year. Oh, here's starting off nice already. When a Madden game wins Game of the Year, something is seriously wrong with it. Okay? Anyway, this is the VGAs. You expect it to happen. It's especially surprising when games like GTA Vice City and Legend of Zelda Wind Waker were also nominated. Also Splinter Cell. So, what the fuck were they thinking? Madden releases the exact same game every year, with only a few tweaks to make it look slightly different, but that's about it. Madden, they just love to suck Madden's dick at the VGAs. Best sports game, Madden, again. Well, nominated, Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. I call that more of a titty bouncing simulator than a sports game, or fan service game, rather. And what's interesting here is SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. It'll be nominated for something else later on. Best action game, True Crime Streets of LA. Now I remember first watching this that I was excited that this game won because I was really into this game back then. But looking back at it, I don't know why I was so excited, because it was just a cheap knockoff of GTA. The only two things that it did better over GTA at the time were the hand-to-hand fighting mechanics and the shooting mechanics. I remember the shooting mechanics. You could go into third person over the shoulder view, and for the fighting you can do these combos and finishing moves, but that's about it. You couldn't fly helicopters, you couldn't drive motorcycles, you couldn't do whatever you wanted because your character was a cop and you had to behave a certain way. So I don't know what I was thinking. I was so crazy about this game. It was also pretty glitchy too. You had like people walking into walls and getting stuck in them, and especially it was surprising it won when Max Payne 2 was also nominated, which is a very good sequel to the original Max Payne. Improved the bullet time mechanics, and then the story was also pretty good. And also Panzer Dragoon Orta, which is an original Xbox game. I have it and I play it on my 360. And it's a very fun 3D shoot 'em up. I'm surprised that didn't win. Best animation, Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, because Spike TV loves to see those bouncing titties, don't they? It's so accurate. In my opinion, Wind Waker should have been nominated and won, because people were upset at first about the cel-shaded aspects of it, but I think it sets it apart from the other Zelda games, and that's good. Also, 13, which is also nominated, uses cel shading too. I haven't played it, but I've seen some footage of it. Best game based on a movie, Enter the Matrix. Excuse me. Now, I actually played this game. I rented it from Blockbuster, and it's one of the few games that actually returned to the store early before its due date, because it was just a huge disappointment. I mean, I was expecting you to pull off all these awesome moves, and it was awesome for like the first 10 minutes, but after that it just got boring and dull. And also, Knights of the Old Republic was nominated, which I hear is very praised. A lot of people like that game. What were they thinking when they gave this game the award? Enter the Matrix sucks. Racing game, NASCAR won over F-Zero. Yeah, right. Best music, Def Jam Vendetta. Vice City had an excellent selection of classic 80s music. One of the best video game soundtracks, in my opinion, and definitely one of the best GTA soundtracks. Best performance by a human. I actually agree with this choice. Ray Liotta as Tommy Vercetti. It's something interesting I heard about this, is that Ray Liotta actually said that he didn't take this role very seriously, and he basically just did it for the money. Little did he know that he would get praised for this. Tommy Vercetti is not one of my favorite GTA protagonists. That would have to be CJ from GTA San Andreas, but that's beside the point. And also in later years, this category will be split up into Best Performance by a Human Male and Best Performance by a Human Female. Anyway, moving on. Most anticipated, which I think is voted on by the viewers, Halo 2. Of course, all those Halo fanboys. Although Halo 2 is my favorite Halo game, it's nowhere near my favorite FPS. Also nominated Doom 3, which is a lot of people don't really like Doom 3. I'm a huge Doom fan, and I like that game. I mean, it's still good shooting mechanics, good enemy selection, but it's more of a horror game. Maybe it's scary. It's a scary game. Good change from the original Doom games. Also, Half-Life 2 is nominated, one of my favorite games of all time. Metal Gear Solid 3 also nominated. Moving on, Most Addictive, Soul Calibur 2, Best PC Game, Halo 1, the PC port of Halo, which shouldn't even have been nominated. I mean, the original Halo was a launch title for the Xbox in 2001, in November 2001, and this is just an excuse to get Halo nominated for an award and to give it an award in my eyes. Moving on. Online game, I don't play MMOs. Final Fantasy 11. Best handheld game, Splinter Cell. I got awarded for best handheld game. Aria of Sorrow, I think that game should have won. Best fighting game, here it is. SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. Nominated for both best fighting game and best sports game. So, Yeah, go figure. Although SmackDown Here Comes the Pain is my favorite wrestling game of all time. Best first-person action Call of Duty, which I'll give them that. The first few Call of Duty games were actually good. That is before Modern Warfare took over, but when Modern Warfare came out, it was just World War II after World War II, so it was nice to see it change, but then they just ran with it. And I'm sick of the Modern Warfare franchise. And also, Black Ops is pretty much the same thing as Modern Warfare. Best fantasy game, Knights of the Old Republic, which it's more of a sci-fi game, really. Along with Star Wars Galaxies, which sucked, I heard, and Xenosaga. Those are sci-fi games. Also, Dot Hack, Part 1. Anyway, moving on. 2004, hosted by Snoop Dogg. Game of the Year, GTA San Andreas. Now, I think it's a pretty tough call. The 2004, a lot of good games were released. Let's see, also nominated Burnout 3, Half-Life 2, Halo 2, and Metal Gear Solid 3. All of those are good games. I would give it GTA San Andreas is my favorite GTA game, and it's just a hard choice to make. I would have a hard time choosing Game of the Year 2004, but to me it would be between San Andreas, Half-Life 2, and Metal Gear Solid 3. All of those are solid games. Based on a movie, Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay. Fully agree with that. GoldenEye Rogue Agent, people, the developer EA were saying it's the sequel to GoldenEye 007 on Nintendo 64. No, it's not. Alright, it wishes it was GoldenEye, but it's not. Nothing can compare to GoldenEye for the N64. In my opinion, the best video game based on a movie ever. Best performance by human female. Don't care. Human male. Samuel L. Jackson. He did do a good job. Although Vin Diesel, he also did a good job too. It's a sign of things to come for Samuel L. Jackson winning this award. Cyber Vixen of the Year. Your favorite video game girl. Blood Rain 2. No opinion. Driving game, Burnout 3. Best sports game, Madden. Madden strikes once again. I just love to suck Madden's dick at Spike. Best fighting game, Mortal Kombat Deception. Best action game, GTA San Andreas. All three good choices. Metal Gear Solid 3 and Ninja Gaiden also nominated. First person action, Halo 2. Half-Life 2, all of the nominees are also good, solid games. Doom 3, Far Cry, Half-Life 2, and Unreal Tournament 2004. I would give it to Half-Life 2, definitely. I mean, it's just an excellent game overall. Best song in a video game. And Madden, the song featured in Madden, once again. Best soundtrack, GTA San Andreas. It did have a good selection of music. Radio stations were pretty good in that game, but I think Vice City's soundtrack is better, in my opinion. Also, Katamari was nominated too. Interesting. Though Spike TV has a tendency to shaft Japanese games, quote unquote, and Nintendo games. Designer of the Year, Jason Jones and Bungie for Halo. Halo strikes over Hideo Kojima, who's in my opinion one of the best video game designers of all time. I mean, every game he makes is very good. Not just MGS games. I think he also made some Zone of the Enders games. Those are pretty fun too. Military game, Call of Duty Finest Hour. Once again, early Call of Duty games are fine. Best PC game, Half-Life 2. Fully agreed with that. Glad to see it won something. Wireless game, Might and Magic, don't care. Best graphics, Half-Life 2. I agree with that. Though I'm surprised they picked that over Halo 2. But Half-Life 2 has graphics that still hold up to this day. I mean, they're just that good. The Source engine, excellent. Best new technology, Nintendo DS is very fun to play with. The touchscreen, pretty innovative for the time. Also nominated Half-Life 2 engine, the Source engine, like I mentioned earlier. Excellent graphics and also perfect physics. I mean, the physics are unparalleled in that engine. And also, interesting, a graphics card was nominated and a surround sound system. Yeah, they were just grasping for straws at that point.